Something shifted in the spiritual atmosphere the moment you closed your mouth and stopped explaining yourself. It was not a small shift. It was a seismic event in the unseen world. Forces that had been feeding off your justifications, your defenses, your desperate need to be understood, suddenly lost their power source. The energy you had been pouring into convincing people of your worth dried up, and in that silence, something ancient and enormous rushed in to fill the space. What happened in that moment was not weakness. It was the activation of one of the rarest powers a human soul can carry in all of spiritual history. Across every civilization that ever sought divine wisdom, the mastery of silence has been guarded as sacred knowledge. Ancient teachers spent decades in monasteries, learning what you just did naturally. Most souls never reach this level. They spend entire lifetimes chasing the approval of people who are never qualified to evaluate them. The cosmos recognizes this kind of restraint as extraordinary because it goes against every human instinct. Every cell in your body wanted to defend itself, to correct the record, to make them understand, and you chose silence instead. That choice does not go unnoticed in the spiritual realm. Think back to the moment it happened. Someone questioned your intentions, misread your actions, or demanded that you justify who you are. In the past, you would have rushed to explain, to clarify, to offer proof of your goodness. But something inside you had finally grown tired of the cycle. You realized that no amount of explanation was going to change a mind that was already decided. So you stopped. You let the silence stand. That decision was not passive. It was the most powerful boundary you had ever drawn, and it was connected directly to a moral awakening that had been building inside you for a long time. What you did not know in that moment is that you were being watched. Both sides of the spiritual spectrum had their attention locked onto you. The dark forces that thrive on your emotional exhaustion had been deliberately engineering situations to keep you explaining, defending, and shrinking. Every time you over-explained, they fed. Every time you begged to be understood, they gained leverage over your narrative and your peace. But the divine forces were watching too, patiently, waiting to see if you would finally discover what they already knew about you. That your silence would become your greatest weapon and your most elegant form of self-mastery. There were so many tests before this moment. The person who publicly misrepresented you and waited for your reaction, you gave them nothing. The group that gossiped about your choices and expected you to come crawling with explanations, you walked forward instead. The relationship, where you were constantly made to feel like your feelings needed justification before they were allowed to exist. You stopped justifying and started observing. Each of these moments was a carefully placed trial, designed to see whether you would keep handing your power to people who had no intention of honoring it. Every time you chose silence, you passed in the celestial councils that govern the evolution of human souls. Your name was raised with a particular kind of reverence. The ancient ones who tracked the development of rare souls across lifetimes identified something in you that they do not often see. A human being who learned to source their certainty from within rather than from external validation. They classified you as exceptionally dangerous to every system built on manipulation, guilt, and emotional dependency. Because a soul that no longer needs to explain itself cannot be controlled, cannot be baited, cannot be drained. You became, in their classification, a sovereign, and sovereigns answer to no court but the divine. God witnessed the exact moment your silence became a declaration. The archangels stood in attention as the shift occurred. Michael, who governs strength, recognized the battle you won without raising your voice. Gabriel, who carries divine messages, noted that your silence itself had become a message louder than any words could have delivered. Uriel, the archangel of wisdom, recorded that you had accessed a level of understanding most humans never reach while still in a physical body. The entire celestial order acknowledged that what appeared to the human eye as simply saying nothing was, in the spiritual dimension, an act of profound and thunderous power. Then the universe issued its response. A decree went out, not in words, but in the rearrangement of circumstances around your life. The spiritual law of reciprocity, which governs that energy always returns to its source, was activated on your behalf. Every ounce of energy you stopped wasting on unnecessary explanation was redirected by divine order back into your own life force. Your clarity sharpened. Your discernment deepened. The noise that once controlled your emotional state began to lose its grip. The universe decreed that from this point forward, your silence would carry weight that your words never could, and that weight would move things in your favor without your effort. You are not someone who simply learned a communication strategy. You are an ancient soul who remembered something your spirit always knew. That true authority does not announce itself, it simply is. You came into this lifetime carrying a frequency of sovereignty that the world's noise had temporarily buried under layers of people-pleasing and self-doubt. But it was always there. The moment you stopped explaining, you did not become powerful. You remembered that you already were. Your identity is not built on whether others understand you. It is built on something far older, far deeper, and completely immune to human opinion or misinterpretation. Your mission in this world is not to convince people of your worth. It is to demonstrate what worth looks like when it requires no convincing. You are placed here to model emotional sovereignty in an age drowning in approval-seeking and public justification. Every person who watches you hold your silence in the face of pressure. Every person who sees you move forward without stopping to argue your case. They are witnessing something their soul is hungry for. Your assignment is to anchor that frequency of self-possession into every space you inhabit, so that others begin to remember their own power simply by being near. Yours, the material world has already begun responding to the shift in your energy. When you stopped leaking your power through endless explanation, your presence became concentrated and magnetic. People who once took your accessibility for granted began to sense a boundary they could not name but could not cross. Opportunities began finding you rather than you chasing them, because desperation had left your energy field. The relationships in your life started reorganizing. Those built on your willingness to constantly justify yourself quietly fell away, while connections rooted in genuine respect began to strengthen and surface. The universe rewards those who stop shrinking, and you have stopped shrinking. People around you are changing because of what they witness in you. They watch you receive criticism without collapse. They observe you being misunderstood without scrambling to correct every perception. And something in them stirs, an old memory of their own dignity, buried under years of seeking approval from the wrong sources. You are not teaching them with lectures. You are teaching them with your posture, your calm, your refusal to be reduced. Some of them will start holding their own silence. Some of them will stop over-explaining their own lives. The awakening you are triggering in others is quiet, powerful, and permanent. You are part of something far larger than your individual journey. Across this world right now, thousands of souls are arriving at this same threshold, the moment they stop explaining and start embodying. They have been through similar trials, similar cycles of justifying themselves to people who were never truly listening. And they are all waking up simultaneously, forming a collective frequency of emotional sovereignty that is shifting the consciousness of entire communities. You are connected to every one of them. Your silence joins their silence, and together, that stillness is becoming one of the most powerful spiritual forces active on this planet in this exact moment of history. If something in this message landed in a place words rarely reach, do not let this moment pass without honoring it. Comment 777 below. Let that number be your declaration that you have claimed your sovereignty. And you are done explaining yourself to those who were never meant to understand you. Share this with someone still exhausted from justifying their worth to the wrong people. Subscribe and remain close, because what follows in this series will take you even deeper into the power that has always lived inside your silence. You have already won the battle. Now it is time to walk fully into the victory that silence built for you.